tonight. My name is Jerry Walker, and I'm your representative on the County Council. What you're about ready to see is the work of your own fellow community members, your own neighbors. They're the ones who took the time to put this PowerPoint presentation together. They did the research, they studied the issues, and they're here to share what they've learned with you and to try to help you to understand where things are at and how you can become engaged in this process of maintaining the quality of life that you have and are used to here on the Mayo Peninsula.
A couple people we want to recognize tonight. These are people from off the peninsula who have come to support us because they're facing the same issues we're facing. So I want to recognize the folks for the Alliance of Livable Communities, the folks from Annapolis Neck, Arnold Preservation Council, Broadneck Council of Communities. I want to welcome the West River Keeper, the Sierra Club representative, the Annapolis Neck Peninsula, and the Most Honorable Virginia Claggett. So thank you for coming and joining us tonight. What we've got for you tonight is a PowerPoint presentation to make you familiar with some of the issues that we're facing, to talk a little bit about what we hope to try to do moving forward from here, and what we need you to do to help us. So at this point, I'm going to turn the floor over to Anthony Brett, and he's going to give you the presentation.
These are the issues that we're facing out here on the peninsula. These impact our quality of life on a daily basis. The county is supposed to be guided by a small area plan that regulates growth, but hasn't quite updated that since 2002. So right now, the building moratorium has been in place in Mayo since 2008 because of the sewer issues of the old system. Back then, Mayo's system didn't have the capacity to handle more homes without causing backups and leaks. The moratorium was initiated by the county due to the threat by the Maryland Department of Environment of fining the county for the wastewater discharges. So right now, the new system is about ready to come online. So all the liquids from the sewer system are going to be pumped from Mayo Peninsula all the way across the bay into Annapolis, where it will be treated. The solids, as we all know, will stay here and be pulled out by the county. The shoreline environment means a lot to the people of Mayo, right? Everybody likes clean water, likes to play in the water, sail, fish, swim. But we do have some problems. The problems being impervious surfaces, chemical runoff, soil erosion. This shows the water quality of the 7 main creeks and bays. Our choices of how we use our land directly affects that. So here's another way to look at it. The only excellent one is surrounded by nothing but forests. Everything else that has development is either threatened or degraded. At the end of the peninsula, if you are inside that red boundary area, you are outside of the minimum requirements that the fire department is required to respond. And no matter how hard they want to get to you, they cannot break the laws of physics. They can't get down 214 in a timely manner. Part of the problem that we're dealing with on this peninsula is Highway 214 is a state-owned road. So we have little recourse. The county actually has little recourse unless we actively push. So currently right now we have 2 schools that are closed due to capacity, Edgewater Elementary and South River High. Technically, we should not be building due to the schools being closed. But as we know, there has been building over the last few years. So some of the things that we're looking at is the park expansions. On the peninsula, there's 5 proposed park expansions right now. What that means is an additional 1,300 plus parking spots between those 5 parks. So during the summer and over the weekends, there will be 13, at least that many, cars coming in. That's also 8 acres of impervious surfaces. I don't know how the county plans to mitigate those 8 acres of impervious surfaces. The pink and the green right now are parks and forest areas, and those are in protected areas. So the unprotected areas are the circles in red. This is roughly 451 acres of potentially developable land. That's a lot. Can the traffic, can the roads, can the fire EMS? Why isn't the APFOs working for us? And their purpose in existence is to prevent schools overcrowding and traffic congestion by throttling development, fire suppression, sewer disposal, storm drains, and water supply. Who adds it all up? Who presses the pause button and adds it all up? The county is working on it, but we are finding a lot of conflicts in the answers we get. So we do have to ask, should it be happening? These combined impacts and these choices are up to us. So right now, our small area plan was written in 2002, and our population count is 20 years ahead of that schedule.
When I first moved to Cato Creek, there were 4 watermen, and they were my alarm clock. At 5 a.m., my neighbor would fire up his diesel and go out and work, and I felt part of the bay. There are no more watermen on Cato Creek. And in fact, you can't oyster in the Western Road Rivers anymore. I want to talk to you about what we can do about that, and how as a community we can design our own future. We have a peninsula problem, just like other peninsulas. It's been talked about plenty, and what happens here has ramifications for water quality, for our quality of life, for our health and our safety, and this is what we have to talk about. And this is what the peninsula looks like today. And the area in red is the Mayo Peninsula, and this is the area that we're actually talking about from the standpoint of how we might do some development work in the future. Planning the development of parks, planning for access and egress, and planning to ensure the safety of the people who are going to use those parks is critical as we move forward. And then an important issue here, as was already alluded to, I think by Bill, there are 633 units that can still be built on the Mayo Peninsula. Every property owner, every individual owns one of those. Infill lots is entitled to compensation for, or to realize the value and the benefit associated with that property. They have a property right. We want to recognize that. That's an important part of thinking ahead. We should be engaging in the general development plan. The county should be preparing to involve us in that planning process. One of the things we would like to invite you to do is join us in developing our own vision for Mayo, thinking 20 years out. I came here in 1999, almost 20 years. It went fast. What do you want your children to be able to enjoy in the Mayo Peninsula? What kind of quality of life do we want to leave for the people who are going to be here 20 years from now? That's the challenge that we face. So we want to invite you to participate in a process that doesn't wait for the county to tell us how the general development plan will be updated. We need a new vision. We need a new plan for the future of the Mayo Peninsula, and we want to invite you to participate in a community-led, transparent, and open process to design that future. We want your ideas, your concerns, and we want your help. This is our community. We can make it the community we want it to be, so long as we're willing to step up and take charge.
All of you live here. All of you have houses here. Many of you have kids who go to school here. You swim here, you fish, you boat, you crab. And what we've learned in the course of the last 5 months is that all these individual parts, fire EMS, the parks, the water and the aquifer, the quality of the environment, there is no single entity in the county that looks at all of this when they check the box for the building permit. If this is going to change, it's because you stand up to make it change. The next step in this campaign is the budget, which will be introduced on May 1st. And in that budget is a proposal to pay for a formal study setup design of Beverly Triton Beach Park. So if you want to be involved in what that park does or doesn't look like, time to get involved. Make your voice heard, and most importantly, vote. Politicians need money. They're trying to reach you. But what they care about on election day is you pulling that switch. You need to make sure they know that depending on how they vote, depends on which switch you pull. So we need you to send those emails. Please go to our website. We're going to post when the council meetings are. We're going to post the email addresses to county representatives. We're going to give you the information you need, but what you've got to do is send the email. You got to come down to the county council meetings. We can't do it for you. If you don't show up now, it will not matter later. Because the train is moving forward, and the only thing that will stop it is you.